I've lived in Brookfield Ridge for 8 years. It's the kind of suburb where the sidewalks are clean, the grass is always cut low, and neighbors wave whether they mean it or not. My wife, Dana, and I bought our home here after she retired from active duty. She served 15 years training special forces, but now she runs tactical courses for law enforcement in our backyard facility, quiet, regulated, and all above board. I used to work IT for a defense contractor before moving into freelance cybersecurity. Between the two of us, we valued structure, security, and peace. That peace started unraveling when Clayton Ward became president of the HOA. Clayton arrived like a gust of smug wind, drove a black Lexus, wore designer polos, and talked like a politician with a god complex. Within months, he rewrote several neighborhood codes, none of which went through proper voting procedures. At first, we thought he was just another overzealous HOA type, obsessed with power trips over mailbox height and paint shades. But then he started showing up at our home unannounced, asking about Dana's training, claiming concern over militaristic activity in a family neighborhood. We showed him our permits, city approvals, even had an officer from the sheriff's department vouch for us. But he just smirked and said, "Well, rules evolve." I didn't like that. Dana liked it less. "He's fishing," she said one night, "and he's arrogant enough to think he'll catch something." We shrugged it off until things escalated. First, a violation notice arrived, citing us for unauthorized commercial activity on residential property. The fine, $12,500, due in 30 days. I immediately filed a dispute with documentation. 2 days later, the footage from our security system flagged a breach. Someone had tried to access our backyard cameras remotely. Dana checked the perimeter. I checked the network logs. It came from a spoofed IP address, but I traced it one of Clayton's consulting companies, registered under his cousin's name. The next week, we noticed a silver SUV parked across the street for hours at a time. Dana clocked the same guy taking pictures through binoculars. We called in a favor from an old friend, Frank, a private investigator and retired deputy, and within a day, he confirmed the man was a disgraced former mall cop, now working private security jobs under Clayton's umbrella. It wasn't paranoia. We were being watched. Then came the kicker. One Saturday morning at 6:15, someone pounded on our front door. Loud, aggressive. I opened the security app on my phone and saw 3 men in what looked like police uniforms standing outside. One held a thick envelope. Another had his hand near what I assumed was a baton. Dana walked up behind me, her voice low and deadly calm. "Those uniforms are off. Patches are too low. Holsters aren't standard issue." She was already moving, speaking in code into her watch. That morning, she'd scheduled a training session for a few active duty friends in our yard. Let's just say they were not average weekend warriors. Meanwhile, I cracked open the door but kept the chain on. "Can I help you?" "We're with County Code Enforcement," one of them said flatly. "You've been issued an emergency eviction due to multiple violations. You have 90 minutes to vacate." "Got ID?" I asked. He shoved a badge toward the gap. It was a fake. Looked real at a glance, but the seal was outdated, and the county name was misspelled Berkeley instead of Berkeley. I stalled, played dumb, said I needed to call our lawyer. Behind me, I saw Dana slipping out the back, silent as ever. From the corner of my eye, I spotted our daughter, Kaylee, peeking from the staircase, pale and scared. My hands clenched. My chest was tight. Then the lead guy stepped forward. "Sir, if you don't comply, we will enter by force." "Try it," I said quietly. A beat later, shouting erupted behind them. "Hands in the air. Do it now." The fake officers spun around to see 5 heavily trained operatives in full tactical gear surround them. Within seconds, they were disarmed, restrained, and face down on our lawn. The sirens followed. Real ones. Frank had already called the sheriff's department, and when the cruisers pulled up, our security footage was already being uploaded to a secure server. Dana had it all planned. The entire fake eviction was caught on 4K video, including their arrival in a black van registered to, you guessed it, Clayton Ward. He showed up minutes later, trying to play innocent. Said he didn't authorize any of this. Claimed it was a miscommunication with an external compliance team. But it was too late. The sheriff recognized the scheme for what it was: impersonation of law enforcement, attempted illegal eviction, and conspiracy. Scott, the fake officer in charge, broke within an hour and started talking, gave up emails, plans, payment records. Clayton was arrested within the week. The fallout was immediate. Neighbors who had once avoided us started knocking on our door. Turns out, we weren't the only ones he'd targeted. He'd been issuing fines and pressuring elderly residents to sell at discounted rates. His cousin, on the board of a development firm, eyeing a luxury apartment complex to replace half our neighborhood. We held a community meeting at the park, and I spoke me, the guy who used to keep his head down. I told them what happened, how Clayton had tried to frame us, intimidate us, and ultimately push us out. Dana stood beside me, quiet but solid. When I finished, people clapped. They called for a vote. Clayton was officially removed from the HOA. His accomplices banned from future involvement. Dana was invited to host a free neighborhood defense seminar, which she now does every other Saturday. And me, I was asked to join the new HOA committee. I declined. Instead, I helped set up a digital archive where residents can anonymously report abuse, track violations, and monitor financial transparency. It's not perfect, but it's progress. Some nights, I still replay that morning, the knock at the door, the look on my daughter's face, the fake badge, but then I remember what came after. The neighbors who stood with us, the family that stood together, and the moment when those men, thinking they could scare us into submission, realized they'd picked the wrong damn house. I'm not a soldier. I'm not a politician. I'm just a husband, a father, and a man who knows how to protect what's his. And if you're dealing with a Clayton of your own, don't back down. Don't give in. You don't need to be trained to fight, just brave enough to stand.